What is going on, people of the internet? Welcome to another episode of Geeked Out. It is I, your host, British Hawk, and with me always is my co-host, Retro Geek Zen. We are here to geek out about stuff. Take us away, Zen.
All right. Feels like it's been a while since we've done a podcast, Hawk.
Because it has.
Because it has. Time flies if you don't, watch out. But
we've just been busy. That's all.
We have been busy, but we have been playing Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
Yes, we've jumped back in that. We played a bit just before it to get us used to it again. We played a bit of Strikes. We played a bit of old content. And we played with a few people we haven't actually played with in a while. And yeah, we were pretty hyped up about getting back into it for the whole Beyond Light thing.
Well, you were the first to jump in. You pre-ordered it before Jason and I did, and before Joker did as well.
Yep.
Obviously, Sam was way ahead of you there.
He actually ordered it after me, not before.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's hardcore. Like he plays pretty much all day, every day, and he didn't even watch any of the Vidocs or any of the teasers online. So he did it properly. Like he wanted to enjoy it to the maximum, which I truly respect, because I watched that Vidoc and it was a lot of hype. And then when you, Jason, and I finished one of the campaign missions and I saw the little cutscene, I'd seen some of it already in the Vidoc, and that pissed me off. So, that typical thing of when you see the highlights of a movie in a...
Yeah, no, it was...
In a preview, what do you call it? In an advertisement?
Yeah, it's a trailer.
A trailer, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, it was the part with where they were fighting all the Fallen. We'd seen like a lot of, like, I think the best parts of that fight in the trailer and the teaser and that, which was a bit disappointing, because it's just like, I've seen this part before. So
yeah, but I don't know what. Let's start with overall impressions. Like before going to talking about the negativity out there on Reddit and everything, which I only just found out today. Before we even go there, let's talk about just what it was like to just log back in and play it again. Actually, before we even talk about that, we did log
Christ.
in. Yeah, no, I want to take a step back. We did talk about we did actually play a couple of sessions before.
Yeah, as I said, we played a few old missions. I mean, remember, I think when we first really logged back in, me and you played with Sam and we did Pit.
We did the dungeons, yeah, and
then the next day I think we did. Did we do Shattered Throne with? No, we did it with. Did we do it with Aga or
Sacrante? So we did the two dungeons over two different sessions, and we didn't wipe once. We came close, but we didn't wipe. And honestly, it felt pretty good, right, to not be at such a high light level, especially you. You were at quite a low light level, because you've not played for 2 seasons and I've not played for 1 season.
2 or 3, but I'm not entirely sure. All I remember is that I haven't played Pit for a while, but it's still like very familiar. But Shattered Throne, that was like a complete throwback. Yeah, that was one that I've not played for ages. And it was tough, but that was what made it fun.
Yeah, so then let's carry that across through to Beyond Light. What I found honestly quite enjoyable was how difficult things felt.
Oh yeah, going into the to the lost sectors, doing a few missions, and not just like decimating everyone was just like. It felt nice again to have that bit of a challenge, that enemies weren't just going down like super quickly.
Yeah, like I noticed with the campaign mission when I did.
But my wrist runner still fucking rules.
Yeah, and I could see, because you were still getting the most kills. So you're definitely it still has a good effect, and apparently it's been buffed or something. I think a few of the older weapons have been buffed, but
yeah, it's a great crowd. Just taking care of
crowd control, because
like they hit me, I arc conduct, and then when I shoot, it just starts arcing from other fucking things. I was literally taking out entire crowds by myself just by shooting one fucking person. In fact, I think I remember at one point I was shooting the boss who was immune, but because no, Now I was shooting somebody that was immune, but because I was art conducting, it was shooting back to the person who was sort of behind cover and hitting them still. So I'm just like, yeah, you can't get away from me.
Look, one thing that I noticed, especially last night, that you, Jace, and I played some of the campaign mission. Jace was under light level, but you'd gotten a little bit closer to soft cap.
No, I was at like, when we played the campaign, because the campaign was 1100, I'd just gotten over that because I'm taking it. I'm taking it as I'm taking it at a certain pace, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see. You're not like, I'm grinding pretty hard just because I didn't intend to, but it's the bug, man. Like, I've definitely got the bug again. So I said I would stop at soft cap, and I've got to soft cap, and now I'm like, well, there's pinnacles on the map now. I might as well do them. So
so you're going pinnacle cap already?
Well, no. Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm not at there's a soft cap, there's a hard cap, and then there's a pinnacle cap. So
the soft cap's
1200, the hard cap's 12, the
1250,
1250, yeah.
The pinnacle cap's 1260.
Yep. So I just thought, fuck, there's pinnacles to be had. I might as well do them. And they're just participation awards, like 3 Gambit matches, 3 Crucible matches, you get your free pinnacle. I thought, fuck it, might as well.
But that makes me think that next season, because my breach light, when I looked at it, it said only goes up to 1260.
Yeah, and then you're fucked for next season.
I was just like, wait, so next season do I have to get rid of this gun? I'm like, it's a fucking good gun though. Like, it does really a lot. It does a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about sunsetting, because that's the massive overall biggest issue that people are having with this game right now.
That was definitely a big thing as well. We log back in. Well, obviously before, and we're feeling pretty powerful and everything like that. But then we come back, and like everybody else, you're basically right at the bottom of the barrel again. You have to, my God, it was so hard. Like, even for you, you have to admit, having to take off your pinnacle that could only go up to 1060.
Yeah, but you worked hard for that too.
Yeah, but equipping a blue, blue, and it was just like, this is just so humiliating.
But it's so sad to give away. Like, I know that I grinded really hard for some of those weapons, like harder than a bigger percentage of the player base, because no one's stupid enough to put that kind of time in to get that weapon. And for them to sunset that, it's savage, man. Like, for them to have bounties in the game right now where you need to use a machine gun, but there are no machine guns that go past 1060. It's okay. There's some holes in the game right now, and they've also got new exotics that you can grind for in legend, like sort of beefed up lost sectors, but you have to go solo. So that's weird too, man. Like, isn't this a team player game? Like, it's weird that you have to go solo, considering people love to play with their friends.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely one of those people. I don't know what it is, but I feel like this season's got an emphasis on shotguns. I don't like shotguns. I think that was a while.
Yeah, I hate shotguns too.
No, because
they gave you a free shotgun. Apparently, it's got the biggest DPS in the game right now. Is the shotgun you get on the first season pass? Yeah. Apparently, it's got the best.
I've got duality. It's because I was looking at because I was doing that EDZ mission to get that exotic, because I'm like, yeah, fucking why not? I'll get the exotic, and then I was like, wait, hold on a second, like, what is exactly this thing I'm grinding for?
Yep.
And also, it took me a couple of attempts to find it for some reason, but I finally found it, and it was just like a small shotgun. I was just like, oh, that's what I'm grinding for? No, thank you.
Well, that's what I do like about this game. So I think you and I have discussed this a fair bit on Discord, and my intentions of coming back is to not go so hardcore that I have to be at the highest absolute light power I can be, and to not. I don't think I've ever really worried too much about meta weapons. I still think that I choose weapons that I like the feel of, and they're the ones that I'm going to use. And
I'd actually, there's a perfect example. Sorry for cutting you off, but like Wrist Runner, it's not a meta weapon. It's not. I don't think it's ever really been a meta weapon.
But you love using it.
But I love using it, and I think I think some people have agreed it is a weapon that's just perfect for me, and definitely perfect for players like me that rush in, that will definitely get hit, that will get that status effect and start fucking shit up.
Yeah,
Whereas for somebody,
it's still valid. It's still valid.
whereas for someone like Jace, it's definitely he probably won't feel as good. He's more of a he's more of a sitting back, so he'd be more like a Iganagi or something like that, a Whisper of the Worm.
Well, the people that are hating what's happening with Beyond Light are forgetting that. They're forgetting that something as old as the Risk Runner is still completely valid in this current game. And so this is where I kind of wanted to steer this discussion, because I've been having fun in this update. And I feel like there's a lot of things for me to do. There's so much for me to do right now to unlock all the stasis crap, and I just know there's a lot of grind for me to do if I want certain things in the game right now, which I'm not complaining about whatsoever. But when I hopped on Reddit today, it is so bad that every single post is complaining, and they're all being upvoted. The complain posts are being upvoted more than the positive posts. And the most massive issue that people have with the game right now is that they're sunsetting 70% of the weapons, and they're not introducing 70% brand new weapons. But I'm like, holy fuck, what did you expect? Like, imagine if they got rid of 70% of the weapons, and on day one, there's hundreds of weapons to grind for. That's not what that would not make sense to me. So I understand that people are upset about some of their favorite weapons going away, but the fact that they're not getting hundreds of new weapons on day one, I think that's not a valid argument. I mean, what do you think about it? Like, they feel like they feel like they're paying $50 or 50 US dollars, and they feel what they generally feel like the community and Reddit community overall feels like they're paying $50 and they're getting nothing. They feel like, I've paid money, and in fact, what I've paid for is that you're taking away everything.
Well, I think that's I think that's initially what they're doing. That was probably the bulk of their work, to sort of like lock that sort of stuff away and add some new restrictions. I mean, I'm like, they can complain as much as they want and say this, and this, but obviously, if they're not behind the scenes, if they're not actually seeing how the clock, how the gears are moving and everything like that in the game, as much as we can go, oh well, all they're doing is blocking stuff off, they could add so much more. It's like, well, maybe it's not that simple.
Well, I also think that all the guns in the game, heaps of them were just reskins of others, and they just had random rolls on them. And
oh yeah, no, that's 100% the truth.
Right. So I think get rid of all that shit and just concentrate on each new weapon that they do introduce from now on. Hopefully, will be unique and different rather than some reskin thing. And
also the biggest problem with having a wide, like a massive amount of inventory for guns is balancing.
Right.
Because the biggest that's always going to be a big problem across any kind of game, because you could have a gun that's outrageously powerful and one that's so underpowered, but then you could try and fix it, but then all it's going to do is sort of like get replaced over and over and over again. And then the developers will have to keep coming in going, oh, we're fixing this weapon because it's doing this, or we're fixing this. I mean, take a look at the Dawnblade. Remember, that was like that was just before I left. Remember, it had a bug in it. I can't remember why it had a bug. I can't remember why entirely it had that bug. But remember, if you activated it and then swapped your weapon, you could just spam it continuously.
Yeah,
but you had to
keep, I remember that.
You had to keep smashing.
Oh, that's just bugs. Apparently, there's super bugs right now. But I mean, they're just bugs and they're sort out over time. But I'm with you on like having a pool of like almost 1,000 weapons. It's just we don't need that, you know. And I get that a lot of people are hurt, but like,
I would prefer a nice, balanced, diverse amount of weapons than just this massive pool of them, of like unbalanced weapons that they just keep continuously throwing, where most of them are basically just reskins with a different name, like Old Trusty, Brick Wall, or something like that.
Yeah. It's almost like more like real life, right? We all know off the top of our heads X amount of real life weapons, but there's not like thousands of them in our heads, you know. But you know, I think that's the thing. Like, the way they're going about it, it's almost like with graphic design, I would refine a graphic designed to a point where it looks quite simple, but there are clients out there that want all the bells and whistles. They want the drop shadows. They want the fucking glow. They want the neon green in there somewhere. They want, and it's like sometimes less is more. And
yeah, but that's what I learned in IT as well, because we had to do we had to make we had to make a website for like a theme park or something, or some kind of company, and they were like, I know what you guys want to kind of do. You're going to make it like all shiny and glowy and shit. And it's just like, I mean, they were just basically going, think about like a lot of like the sites that I visited, like really look at them. And they showed us the Apple site, the banner.
Sure.
And that's just, it's
clean.
it's not fancy. It's literally just
a
nice circle, clean lines,
strong
sort of like
typography, strong message or something. Yeah.
Two shades of grey on there, a bit of whiteness. That's it. And then they were like, try go something like this, and then they were like, showed us another site and like, does this look nice to you? And we were just like, no, it doesn't, because it was like had like glowing and shit and like really jagged edges and everything. It's like because there's so much to it, it takes like it just doesn't come out looking completely right.
Well, I would say as well with like fashion designers and car manufacturers, like if you reduce the range but made every model more different to each other, like it would be better. Like rather than having 5 tiny cars, 5 medium cars, 5 large cars, and you just fucking reduce the range down and just make good cars, as opposed to like fucking a shit ton of models in the range. Like I just think it's like there's always going to be 2 types of people, right? One who believes they're getting, for the $50 US that they're paying for this game, they feel like, oh my god, we're getting hundreds more new weapons, and that will feel like good value. But I can see what Bungie are trying to do here with setting a new direction for a community and a new direction for the game. So
yeah, but what I saw when I was looking, because I wasn't under that misconception of, oh, we're already gonna get, because I was already like, there was already fucking thousands of weapons in there, and to be honest, since I said like all the wrist runner thing,
you weren't using them anyway, right?
Oh yeah, I was pretty much. That's my. I kept saying it when we jumped back on. I'm like, this is my old faithful. I'll always come back to this weapon. I've switched so many times, but I always just go, fuck this. I'm going back to the wrist runner. That's my good one.
But your weapon is an exotic, so you can upgrade that to infinitely, right? So you're lucky there. But what if your favorite weapon was something that you worked really fucking hard for, and now you've just found out you can't use it anymore?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
How would you feel?
I feel bad for the people who have gone like, I got this in, what was it, like last season, or like the Dreambanes, like the Dreambane stuff. And in fact, I felt bad for that sort of stuff. I'll get back to that in a second. And it just caps at 1060. And you're just like, but this is the gun I rely on. This is the gun I've used for a while.
It's over.
And then you just have to accept that it's over.
Yeah.
And you could go, I'll put it in my vault for like, but it's like, no, you can't. It's just, it'll sit there forever.
There's no point.
You can't take it out. And it's
you could use it in PvP, but if you're a PvE player, then there's no point.
But yeah, but going back to the Pinnacle Armor, because I imagine you felt pretty all of my pinnacles were all from the Dreambane, were all Dreambane stuff, all capping at 1060. And I had to bite the bullet and take them off. And then I was just like, no, I'm not even going to take, because I kept them for a while. But I'm just like, no, I can't, because like there's just no point, and it's just taking up room. Admittedly, we obviously got a lot from them, prismatics, and
get some materials back at least. Yeah,
but still, it did hurt. There was a bit of a sting to it.
Yeah, especially this thing for the grind to get them, I think, is what people are upset about. But another huge, massive thing that people are upset about is the campaign, and that like, there's always going to be people that are rushing through the campaign. You're one of those people. You're a real. That's why I'm doing the campaign solo, then doing it with you guys. Because when you and Jason and I started doing the campaign, like you're just doing what you do, which is how you play games. I have nothing against it. Like you like to rush ahead and not look at anything. I'm sitting there looking at waterfalls. I'm looking at puddles in the ground. I'm looking at reflections. I'm looking at textures. I'm pacing it out to be as long as possible, because I know that I'm never going to do this again. So it's very different, you and I.
Yeah. So I do always think that's funny when you're like just looking around, and goes, wow, this looks really nice. There's, Hulk, where are you? And I'm just like, I'm just fighting some people.
Yeah, but the way you play new content is like how we played the strike for the 200th time. You just fucking go. But I know that that's where it's going to be later on, where we just fly through shit. Like, don't get me wrong, with with all other content in the game, I fly through it just like you do. But when it's brand new, it's like driving a car for the first time when you first buy it. For me, I really enjoy it. Like, I'm not in a rush to like spill coffee in it and get it dirty, and I don't know. It's something. It's some you and I are really different players.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that because this was what I had to do in Slow Tour as well when I played that back then. I'm very dedicated to playing groups to the point where I'll literally be like, if they're like, we'll do this together, I'm like, yep, and I'll stay by that. Like, even if I'm like, I really want to do the next mission, it seems like it's so good, I'll be like, no, I said I'd be doing it like this. So I always thought that was weird. I like to rush through missions, yet when it comes to actually like doing the next mission that not everyone agrees with, I'm just like, no, I'm perfectly fine with sticking back and just waiting. Like, because obviously you were saying you want the campaign to last like a while, and I was just like, yeah, I guess. But then admittedly, I was sort of like, I do just want to kind of go through the mission, all the missions myself. I'll get the dark powers and then come back because I really want to play around with them, which is which was actually the big selling point for the DLC. Weapons aside, I was like, dark powers, that sounds fucking cool. I want to try that.
I get that. I get that completely, because you think about the game in terms of Destiny, in terms of playing with friends. It is the end game that you enjoy playing with friends. It's not the fucking story missions, So I'm with you there. Like, it was a point where we got to the end of a particular campaign mission, and I was hearing the voiceover for finishing the mission, but then you and Jace ran up to Eris and started dialogue with her, and now I could literally hear 2 bits of dialogue at the same time, and that's when I went, I've got to stop this. Like, I've got to stop playing with you guys, because I'm not here to skip dialogue that I'm never going to hear again, ever. So that's the money, in my opinion, where people are upset about spending, $75 or $100 on this game.
That's weird, because
my thing is, I've spent $75 on this game. There's a bit of dialogue in there that I really want to hear, but if I'm playing with you guys and 2 bits of dialogue are playing at the same time, I can't possibly understand either of these 2 speakers right now. So
that's really strange, because me and Jace weren't skipping any content.
No, but before Eris's dialogue was over, you guys were over at the monument dunking some part of the dark power in, and I was still listening to Eris. She was still talking when you guys were already at the next part of the mission. So that's when I just called it. I just went, and you know what? I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed, because that campaign mission that you and Jason and I did last night, it was over in a heartbeat. You guys smashed those bosses, and I purposely, on purpose, didn't hit the boss. Yes, I stopped. I did not land one single shot on that boss, and I saw you with your supers and stuff just take it down so quickly, and I'm like, man, I had so much more fun taking that down by myself, and it took so much longer to take it down by myself, and I had to involve so much strategy, and I know where where I prefer to play. Like, I like it to be difficult, and I liked it better as a solo player because of how difficult it was than us just going in there and smashing that boss. It was very clear to me last night.
I definitely enjoy prefer the more difficult stuff, but I get a lot more fun when it's difficulty with people, not without.
Yeah, which will come. That's what I'm getting at. That'll come.
We can
do Nightfalls, and we can do Grandmasters and stuff like that. That's going to come in terms of group plays. So I think when it comes to the campaign, people are complaining right now on Reddit that, oh my God, I've done the whole campaign in 3 hours. It's only 3 hours, and it's like, yeah, that's because they're playing with mates and they're smashing through it, and I get it, but then I accidentally finished the campaign today by myself solo, and I'm like, you are fucking kidding me. I could not believe how abruptly that this campaign ends. And I've spent, 75 Australian dollars on this thing, hoping that this campaign would last me at least a week. And to be honest, yeah, I see what they're saying. You can do it in 3 or 4, 5, 6 hours. And it's like, that's not like Assassins. That's not like other games that we know the campaign's going to take 30 plus hours, like I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
I know the Divinity Original Sins 2.
Right.
That took me and Jace ages, and it was fucking great.
That's what I mean. Like, how come Bungie can't do that? How come? Like, I don't mind the filler bit where you have to go and kill X amount of enemies to level up so that you can move on. I don't mind that.
The game.
Yeah, I don't mind that. A lot of people are complaining about that. I'm like, hey, come on, Destiny's always been like that. But what about the actual campaign content? Like, how come? I mean, you don't know because you and Jace haven't finished it yet. But when we hop on later on tonight and continue what we did last night, it'll be over. And you'll have your superpowers that you wanted.
Superpowers.
But, dude, it'll be over within a couple of hours. And I can't believe it. I really can't believe how short the campaign is. Like, I do understand people complaining about that. Why can't you make a story that's interesting enough to last more than, I mean, a couple of hours, 3 hours? That's almost like the length of a movie.
Again, this is something that whereas we could again complain about, but because we're not behind the scenes, I mean, obviously it'd be a lot more preferable that they do that, but it's not as if it's uncommon considering that we've gone through the past campaigns. They're pretty much at that length. They're very bare bones.
Why couldn't you slow release a campaign over the season as opposed to here's the campaign, everyone smashes through it on the first day they play the game? How come? Why wouldn't you release a campaign that you can't possibly do over one day? Like, why wouldn't you time gate it or something so that at least there's no way of finishing this campaign on day one?
But what if the campaign does continue next season?
Well, it will. That's the thing. Like that, I just think that they could work on this concept of like, because Bungie do release content over the season. Like, we know this. So all these people complaining, they are premature. Like, they're always premature with complaining, because Bungie has some surprises up their sleeve. There's no way that we've paid $75 for this thing and we're only getting 5 new weapons or something. There's no way. There's going to be many more weapons to come. We all know.
Yeah, that's because towards the end will be your more lavish events,
right? To get people more power, and there's going to be more strikes, and there's going to be a raid, and there's going to be more content. So I think it's a typical internet thing. Like I said, I've been enjoying this update, but as soon as I hopped on Reddit today and saw the negativity, I'm like, wow, like the entire community, the Reddit community, and now on YouTube as well. People are on YouTube saying that they're never going to play Destiny ever again. They're uninstalling. They're very upset about spending the money on it. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing that for the fucking attention or whether they're maybe if you're feeling that way about a game, you really should move on, right? Isn't that correct?
Possibly, yeah. It depends, because you can seek enjoyment out of a game that you claim not to like. That's the thing.
Fallout 76 is a good example of the entire community hating on it. Then I thought at some point, fuck it, I'm going to buy it and try to convince you guys to join me. And I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in it. You had already bought it, yeah. But I convinced you to come back in with us, right? And
I was a day one person because me and my friend, another friend at work, we were playing it like from day one.
Yep. That's right. I definitely wasn't because of I was watching the skill up videos and all the bad reviews, and I mean a lot of the reason why we're doing this podcast is because sometimes when you watch all these bad reviews, it's not your opinion, it's some fucking other guy's opinion. So
yeah, that's what we touched on before, because I'll have to remember why we came up with this, but it's just like I can't entirely value someone's opinion on something if it's purely based off somebody else's opinion. If someone went, I don't like this movie or I don't like this game because of his or her video that I watched about it.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and go, okay, well, have you actually watched it or played it? And they go, no, I just watched that video. And he's like, well, then you have nothing to say on it, do you? Because
I'm with you.
You're viewing this thing through their eyes, not yours. Because there could be something that you've entirely missed that they failed to mention. I mean,
we're all individuals, right? And we all that's the thing. Like these review sites, especially the ones with the big followers, like they at least they're still saying it's their opinion. At least it's like I. You know, it's like IGN's a bit scarier because they kind of say we, which is a bit freakier.
But to be honest, their whole they go, we're giving this an average or like a this is like their average, as in like their like middle is 7 out of 10. I'm just like, that's not the middle, that's 5 out of 10. That's average.
The question still remains: who the fuck are you to give anything a score? Like that still remains, you know. But back to Destiny. So another thing that they hyped up a lot with the Vidoc and stuff was weather systems and stuff. And you know, we've never had hardcore weather systems in Destiny, but I don't think we've ever really cared for it either. So a whole lot of people on Reddit are like, well, and on YouTube as well, they're like, they can see the weather systems, but they're, if anything, they find them annoying because they can't see jack shit. So it's like, maybe you got to be careful about what you hype up.
Yeah, you know, it's I get it, but it's become more of a minor inconvenience than anything.
Right. That's what they're saying. It's like, yes, we can see the weather. Yeah, it looks good, Bungie, but like, is it something to really hype up and get excited about? I mean, there's no new weather systems on any of the other planets that are still around. So it's Europa.
I did enjoy the part where I got onto my my Sparrow and it started going backwards, and I'm just like, this is. I don't know why I was just like, this is funny.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's a bad step. I just don't think it. I just don't think it needed any hype. Imagine if they didn't hype that whatsoever, and it just happened. And that would be cooler than hyping it. I just think hype is bad. You know, I think we can both.
I think when they're saying like because it's a dynamic weather system, it was just like, okay, so it's going to apply to all planets. Like, no, it's just Europa. No, it's just like, okay, so is it going to be like it's just a snowstorm? Yeah. Okay, that's not dynamic in a lot of ways. I think if they'd maybe applied it to more planets and not told anyone,
I agree.
Let them witness it. Yes. Everyone would have been like, this is actually pretty cool.
Exactly. Oh my god, you and I both agree on something. But yeah, that's 100%. That's 100% the way I would have done it if I was a developer. I would not have hyped up the weather systems, put it in all the planets, and then people be like, fuck, I feel like I'm getting something for my money. It's fucking cool. But yeah, it's only on one planet and they hyped it up, and I think that was a bad move. Moving on, I think you and I are both not huge fans of PvP. I do love PvP, but you definitely don't love PvP.
No, I pretty much avoid it like a lot. I do kind of enjoy the PvP aspect of Gambit, but when it comes to like Crucible, I'm just like, I pretty much just go, I just don't want to play it at all.
Man, I hate it, but it's a love-hate thing. Like, there's no point in the game ever that my hands get so sweaty and I get so stressed out and I yell at the monitor, you know, like, apart from PvP. Like in PvE, I have good experiences, but in PvP, I can have amazing experiences and I can have like the worst experiences as well. So there's high highs and low lows for me in PvP. And when I first logged in and started playing PvP, I was pretty rusty and I was like, okay, fair call. I fucking hate this. But then I started within an hour or two, I started getting better to the point where I almost screen grabbed a couple of end screens because I did pretty well. But then yesterday, when I hopped in PvP, everyone's got their new stasis superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was being frozen left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And my God, I was getting frozen so much that like, I can't move. This is not a good feeling. Like, it is not a good feeling when someone comes around the corner and you're instantly frozen. This doesn't feel good. And today, just before this podcast, actually, I watched one of Glad's videos. Glad's one of the biggest Destiny streamers and YouTubers out there. And his clickbaity title is that the Crucible is, it's gone. It's ruined. Because he is someone who's very talented with using weapons. He's got very amazing aim and strategies with weapons. And he's being beaten by people with no weapons, but stasis skills, abilities.
Well, what's
your thought on that? Like, what's your thought on a game mode that
originally,
it's like?
Well, originally I was going to mention the whole like Gambit thing where we were playing with Agadex.
That was pretty.
It was so nail biting because
that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Because at the end it was just literally by a sliver.
A slither. That was actually probably one of our best Gambit games because it was so close.
But I imagine that will suffer the same consequence because of the PvP aspect, and that actually has a dynamic impact on the match. Because if you kill someone while they've got the prime evil out, it actually does like send it back.
Heals up.
But I definitely say there's a good and a bad to the PvP aspect of it. The good side is the fact that at least it gives people who are maybe a bit new to the game a bit more of a better chance.
What I was about to say, with considering Warlock apparently has the best stasis skills, the Warlock is so overpowered, and apparently Warlocks have always been complaining for years to Bungie that like they need better skills within PvP. And now Warlocks are at the utmost forefront of smashing everybody in PvP. Would that actually encourage you being a Warlock main to play PvP and destroy people with your stasis skills?
No. I just don't have any interest in PvP.
Yeah, I get you. So in that case, I think that maybe they should not allow stasis within PvP because no one gives a fuck about PvP anyway. If you don't like it, you don't give a fuck about it.
The thing is that I've sort of seen it briefly every so often when you link it in our Discord,
right?
That Warlocks are complaining about it, but at the same time, it's just like, but aren't Warlocks like the most powerful in PvE?
Yeah, so
and hunters hunters are the PvP people, because that's originally why I made a hunter. I was just like, this will just be my PvP person. I'll just be like,
movement and stuff. But look, I think like there was a weapon called the Witherhoard, which is a grenade launcher. It was the last new weapon that I grinded for 2 seasons ago, and so I built my whole current season right now build around the Witherhoard. And just yesterday I logged in and I was 12 something, and I logged in, I was 10 something, and I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on here? And turns out they've taken the weapon out of the loot pool. They've disabled it because it was causing humongous issues in PvP. So another huge complaint with the entire community is this is the sole problem of Destiny, in that they are trying to not only balance weapons, like you mentioned before, they're trying to balance weapons. They're trying to balance weapons over PvP and PvE.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous that this weapon works perfectly for me in PvE, and it has since it came out. But because it's a problem in PvP, now I can't use the weapon. And it's fucked up my entire build. So I think that's a valid point. What do you think about that point of like separating PvE from PvP?
Yeah, so I guess what they could do is allocate PvP only weapons and be like, hey, you can only use these in PvP and you can only use these in PvE. So I mean, take like,
I like it.
I can only think of this because, and it's an unlikely scenario, but say the wrist runner, say someone triggers the arc. In
PvP,
yeah. So say someone triggers my wrist runner's ability, and there's like 3 of them together. If I'm shooting one, I'm basically shooting all 3 of them at the same time.
Right.
And say I get like a triple kill, and I've just shot one person, but like his 2 mates are just close by him, but hiding in cover. That seems a bit unfair.
Yeah, I love the idea of PvP where it's not ability based, but it's actually gun based, because people talk about Destiny being a good shooter, a good shooter. Like it actually feels good to shoot weapons in, and that's why people are using hand cannons and shit, right? And I like the idea of a PvP mode that.
Do you actually lose your super every time? Because I can't remember. Do you actually lose the bar, the super bar, when you die?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
because
No,
I
it
was
keeps
like,
going. Yeah.
because I was just like, oh, well, what if you just did a thing where you had to kill many people to like get to like build it up and essentially something like that? Or if anything, it was like, look, you've died 15 times in a row. Here's your super.
Yeah,
Like,
no. It builds up over time, but I do like the idea of like I can see on YouTube how some PvP players have such good gun skills, man. Like they're really fast. They know how to move. They know how to slide, and they know how to preempt. They know how to use sniper rifles in PvP, and I think that's a amazing reflection on how good the game is and how good the engine is and how good it feels. But I think like if you were a hardcore PvP player and you were amazing with weapons, and now you're getting fucked over, getting frozen all the fucking time, like I think you're fucking up your player base for sure. For sure.
for sure.
For sure. Like I think I feel sorry for the really good guys that are good at aiming for the head and good at shooting in the air and all that kind of good stuff, and they are losing now because someone is using
Yeah, well,
or spamming
as I said
skills,
before,
abilities.
as I said before, good side, bad side. Good side, it provides people that are coming into it with an opportunity to at least compete with them. But the bad side is because it's such, it just cripples some of the players that have gone. I put heaps of hours into this. I have the skill and everything like that, but I'm basically being taken down by some guy who just
Yep.
started playing 3 days ago.
And I've seen some game modes where they make your super come back quicker and all that stuff. It should go the other way. They should have game modes where you can't use your super, and I don't know if there is actually.
Oh, actually, that'd be pretty cool if it was just like
Just guns.
if it
Just
yeah
guns. That's it.
if it was like, your grenade takes ages, all
Mm.
your melee, it takes off healing rift as well. So you literally
Right.
just
That's
have
what I
to
mean.
heal.
That's what I mean. So it's literally letting the guys who are absolutely fucking skilled at this shit have the best time in there because there's no cheats, there's no fucking abilities. We all have to aim and it's more realistic. I think that's almost what they want.
It'd be
PvP
yeah,
wise.
it'd be interesting if they made a game mode with restrictions, like you had like certain tiers of it, so you'd be like, you can't use exotics in this, or you can't use your super.
There you
Your
go. Or
grenade
even
comes
just
back
hand
at
cannons only or something.
you can only bring you can't use your healing rift or anything like that, or shields or anything. You have to just wait. You have to just wait it out. Your grenade comes back at a longer rate and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings me to the very last bullet point that I have here. And one of actually, the highest complaint the last time I checked Reddit, it was at the very fucking top of hot threads, was that there's not enough fast travel points on Europa, the new planet, and I don't know. What do you think of that, man? Because you probably have been playing games for long enough to know that the very first few games you were playing didn't even have fast travel.
Oh
Fast travel is
yeah.
like it's become a thing in a lot of modern games.
The
So
first few games I played
mhm.
and were save points. You had to go to a specific point to
Yep,
save the game, or you had to go back to a specific point to save the game. If
right.
you didn't, you had to start all over again.
Yep.
But also back then, you had to have a card to put in the game. It wasn't all internal and shit. But yeah, also there wasn't like fast travel and that, and some of them didn't even have maps. You just had to figure it out.
Exactly. So what do you before I give my opinion on it, what do you think about a whole lot of people complaining about not
So
having enough
my
fast
thought
travel points on this planet?
So my
On the
thought
planet.
was for one or two of the particular areas, I did say, yeah, actually, a fast travel point would make it a bit more convenient. But at the same
Convenient,
time,
yeah.
but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's not that far. And plus, I actually enjoy flying around on my Sparrow. It's pretty cool, and you can soak in the atmosphere, get a bit more of the kills and everything like that. I mean, in the end, realistically, what you're going to be doing is going around and exploring. Because
I'm
to
with
I think
I'm with you, I think.
I can't remember what it was. It was.
Do you remember Destiny 1? You couldn't just fast travel to certain things. You just had to do that long sparrow ride to get to that place that you wanted to get to. Like,
yeah, you had to go to this specific landing area,
and you got to know it. You got to really know the map because you were traveling it as opposed to just fast traveling all the time. You actually got to know every corner of the path, the way there. It's almost like getting to know a road to your girlfriend's house or something. It's the same shit. You get to know every single fucking corner, every traffic light, every shop, and that only happens when you don't have fast travel.
Yeah.
So I get that it's like one of the most hottest topics on Reddit, but I also understand that's the way life is these days.
I get how like more convenient it is, and realistically, like if you're going, well, I don't have that much time to play, so I really want to get like all this sort of stuff done. I fully get that.
But if there's fast travel, no one's ever gonna hop on the Sparrow and drive there again, ever.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well. It's just the case of it. It's the problem with all these sorts of games, SWOT or MMOs and just general all that sort of stuff. Is you have to. There's always different types of players, and you always have to cater to. You have to cater to one of them, and not cater to some of them. So, for example, when I used to play SWOTOR, I had to grind. I had to put in the effort to get the armor, to get the mods, to put in the armor, and to get my level. I basically had to do everything on that fucking planet. Yet nowadays, when I jump onto it, it's just like, oh, I just did a mission and now I'm 17 levels above this planet. I'm like way too far ahead, and my armor is just like, oh, okay, I've got all the mods. Like, this is so effortlessly. And I'm just like, maybe they're pandering to the casual crowd too much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But look, all I know 100% is overall, like, my end notes are that I've been really enjoying this, just being back in Destiny again, to a point where it's surprising me how addicted to it again I am. It's taken me by surprise. I thought I'd be able to do just a few hours a day, but no, I've been hooked on it, and I feel like I'm excited to be back. But as soon as I checked out Reddit, it put a little bit of a damper on the game for me, in that it's sad. I feel sad that so many people that do love the game are very upset with the current state of the game, and it's a little bit confusing for me. It's like I'm the kind of person that I've run communities before, and I do try to keep everybody mostly happy, but it's very obvious to me that Bungie's not got everyone happy. That's what I'm getting at. It's like, I'm happy, but that's because I'm ignoring all this. I don't care what you think. If I enjoy this game, I'm going to play it.
Yeah,
I think you're the same way. It's like, if you are having a good time with it, who gives a fuck if someone gave it a bad review? I'm having a good time in it. I don't care. But for me, as someone who's...
But that's the whole point of like experiencing something yourself. It's
Exactly.
more to do with the fact that, yeah, someone gave it a bad review, but that doesn't necessarily mean that defines your experience with it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I'm a little bit, like, a bit upset that I checked out Reddit today, and I was shocked. I was really shocked. I thought there were going to be more returning players like myself that'll be like, oh fuck, I'm enjoying this new content and I'm glad to be back. But it's being dominated by a whole lot of hate, and it's toxic. It's really toxic, and at the same time, they're the people that are spending the money, and I bet you they're still playing it every day. That's the weird thing about it. It's like if you fucking hate your Toyota so much, maybe you should sell it and buy a Honda. But no, these guys are...
I know, but I still think it's something to do with a bit of like more of a reset mentality, as in like, because but it just feels like you're back to the beginning.
Yeah, you're nobody. You're nobody again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just have a feeling that's sort of where the hate's coming from, because we've had like seasons where you just keep going up and up and up, and technically your light level's still going up. It's like, but it just doesn't feel that way because you're going back to blues and you're having to work your way back up to purples and then back up to pinnacles.
Well, one guy on YouTube was complaining about how short the campaign mission was, and he was going on about a campaign mission from Destiny 1 that was apparently godlike and the fucking best. And in the comments, someone commented and said, technically, the current campaign is longer than the campaign you're talking about from D1. So a lot of it is as well people having good memories of, it's almost like I like your first album better than your second album. There's a little bit of that going on as well.
Yeah. Well, Well, so but sometimes smaller missions, side missions, and everything like that can turn out to be like a lot better than some of the story itself. You'll play that and you'll be like, oh my god, that was so hype, that was awesome, that was like great mission. But then you'll play like the story mission, you'll just be like, oh, okay, that was what it was.
Well, dude, another thing that they did that a lot of people aren't doing is that they completely redesigned the first player experience. So there's a little console next to the Eververse store that you can download and initiate the first time players mission, which starts you off at the Cosmodrome. And apparently that mission's fantastic. Like a few players
there's
done that, and they've made a lot more sense out of the Destiny lore with what they've done there, as opposed to what we've had for the last year or so.
What I was gonna ask, because they definitely
you Jason and I can definitely do that again. Like we can definitely all pick up that mission and start the game as if it was our first time playing the game. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I did originally want to ask, because obviously Destiny 2 doesn't have just the new campaign that's come out, but it also had its previous ones. But because of the old planets disappearing, I was wondering if those are even still accessible.
Yeah, so it is within this, the way they've reintroduced it, there's even mentions of GEEK'D and everything. So it's like, it's absolutely for new players. So maybe it's something that you Jason and I could do at some point, and just enjoy that,
Yeah, well, they'll talk about that. Good. Yeah, well, but also with the fact that I remember, because I originally pre-ordered, bought, and played like you, Destiny 2, but I didn't play it to the extent you did, because I was like solo player at the time. No one was playing with me, so I just kind of got bored of it really, really quickly.
Well, that's you though, with games.
No, it was primarily because of a solo thing. It's if I'm jumping into like massive co-op games that are primarily for co-op, and I'm just playing solo and everything, and
you're not the kind of player that plays the one game for multiple years at a time. You're not that player.
Anyways, I remember the start of it, and all of that sort of stuff, and they completely changed it, and they made it like Destiny 1. Like the Destiny 2 starting like it is nowadays, or is almost identical to what it was.
Oh yeah, I'm a bit, that's what I sent you guys a video on Discord today about Datto interviewing them before Shadowkeep, I think like a year ago now.
Yeah, the whole Destiny. I just got the part where he's just like, "Hey, where's Destiny 3?" And I'm just like,
it's not happening. And he called it. He called it a year ago. Like, are you guys just gonna keep Destiny 2 going and keep releasing like DLCs? And so he called it, and he also asked Luke Smith to his face, like, how do you deal with all the haters that are like, you are constantly rehashing old content? These are CG assets and stuff that you've already got on your hard drives, and you're bringing it back up, like the moon, the Cosmodrome. That's what we got right now. The Cosmodrome's back, but it's not even back like how it was. It's only half back. And then you're constantly bringing weapons back from like Destiny 1 and early. I don't know. Like, what's your thought on that? Like, whenever they release something new, but it's actually something old, how do you feel about that?
I think
do you feel it's lazy?
I think it's partially lazy and partially a whole thing where they're going, let's try and capture the nostalgia, because
that's a minority, right?
As much no, actually I wouldn't say that at all. As much as I'd like to say, like, Yeah, it's pretty lazy. It's at the same time, it's like you probably do have lots of people, and in fact, you had lots of people going, "Bring back the Cosmodrome. Bring back the Cosmodrome.
Do
Why
do
haven't you
they
brought back this weapon? I want to use this weapon again in Destiny 1."
do they
Like,
do that with Star Wars? Do they do that with the new Star Wars? Like they do the new Star Wars movies have bits in them that are catering for people like yourself that are hardcore
so
Star Wars fans?
so to Force Awakens, for examples, that one of the biggest complaints, myself included, that it was almost a carbon copy, which obviously wasn't exactly like a carbon copy
Of what?
of A New Hope, Death Star, all that sort of stuff.
Right. The same
And
sort of...
J.J. Abrams did come forward and went, I made that film to try and capture the nostalgia of the original trilogy. That's why Luke and sorry, not Luke. That's why Han and Leia were split up so they could get back together and everything like that, which again confused people. So they're like,
Did it
well, okay,
work for
why are
you
they
though?
apart?
Did it work for you? Like as
Oh no,
someone...
I'd like to clarify. I almost walked out 3 times during the movie. I was so angry with the movie. I was just like, this is terrible. Like when I saw Kylo Ren, I was just like, this is basically just a cheap, shitty rip off of Darth Kytus.
Yeah, but you're saying that they actually did that on purpose for someone like you, and you didn't get it. It missed the mark.
It wasn't just me. It was like a lot of people. In fact, a lot of people praised it at the start, but then a few months later, after a lot of the hate came out, a lot of people did turn around and gone, "We said this stuff to save face," and a lot of them were saying stuff like this. I felt this like magical shining light in my chest when the scroll happened, but after it finished, it was gone. And I was just like, yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, but to be honest, the sequel trilogy is just a shit. It was just a shit show. It was like it had no clear direction. It had like some terribly written characters, everything like that. It was bad. That's why I got so excited when I like a couple months ago when they had that article, like Doomcock was saying that they were thinking about like erasing that entire thing and just saying that just happened in alternate time. Like, I was so excited for that because they'd be hitting the reset button and trying again and putting in an effort to it. Because one of the biggest things as well is that, yeah, sure, they did that, but they also insulted the fans as they went with it.
Yeah, I'm at two minds about it. I like half of me is like, I don't give a fuck if you bring back weapons that I used to use in D1, but what I do still hate is that I know that I grinded really fucking hard for some stuff within the current game and that I can't use it anymore. So that is something that I'm a bit pissed off about. I have to admit. And like for everybody to be able to just go up to that new machine now at the tower and just buy shit that they didn't even fucking earn, man. Like, yeah, I understand it takes a lot of materials to buy some of these weapons, but man, like materials are not the same grind as it took to get X amount of headshots with a certain weapon in PvP that you fucking hate PvP and you fucking did it anyway because you wanted that weapon. So
I think I get it. If I was just like, hey Zen, I got the recluse, and you were like, how did you get it? I'm like, I just got it from that machine. Yeah, I know you'd just be like, you practically be like, fucking drop that weapon right now. You haven't earned that.
So I think like, why can't the company understand that? Like, it's like the way that Bungie are dealing with some of these issues is almost like how what Disney's doing to the true Star Wars fans like yourself. It's like they have their priorities somewhere else. They're definitely not putting the real fans first. Like in what world does that happen? Like if you run a company, I run a company, even if you and I ran a company, we would still put our fans first, right? Like that seems really obvious to me, is that
Well, yeah. If
create a business and
we
the
were to
people
make
that
a
support you,
if we were to make a
right?
hypothetical business, and let's say it's like a geeked out business, we'd be putting like the
The,
geek community first. We wouldn't be
well,
like
the people who
we
supported us, right?
we wouldn't just be like, hey, you geeks are fucking losers. We're just going to appeal to the sports fans. It'd be like, why? That doesn't make
Well,
any sense.
and especially the people that supported you, especially the people who got you to where you are today, right? So it's like
Oh yeah,
that's one thing that's happening
if you had like a group of customers, let's say you knew them by name, like 3 customers, hypothetical customers, John, James, and Jim. If they were like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" You'd be like, "Fuck off, mate." You wouldn't say like that sort of stuff. You'd be like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" Thank you. You'd be thanking them to a degree. You'd be like, "Thank you." Like you're kind of the reason why this whole thing's sort of existing.
So that's kind of what I don't get is what's happening with Bungie is like they've said goodbye to Activision. They've gotten independent again and they're on their own now. So I thought when they did that, I thought this is going to be really good for the Bungie fans. This is going to be the best move ever to fuck off the giant, the backer. And then like if I got rid of the sponsorship, then I'm going to just focus on my fans and what got me here and what I want to do. And what's confusing is that even though they've gone solo without Activision, it doesn't seem to be getting better for them in terms of the truest fans are the ones on Reddit that are screaming out the most. Like they are only hating the game because they kind of love it so much. That's why they're in pain. Like they're bothering to comment negatively because they really are upset. Like I'm a casual gamer again now. I've come back in as a casual gamer. I'm having a good time. But I think, yeah, I didn't do the last season. So maybe the guy who did the last season is really upset with this season. You know, I don't know.
Well, I'm still a bit upset that I had to get rid of my Dreambane armor because the moon's still there. The moon's still there. It's just like,
no.
okay,
It's like,
but
what the fuck, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing? I fucking got
like,
good rolls on this shit and I invested all this
but if it
shit
was
in it
like,
and now I can't use it. Yeah.
if it was like Trials of Osiris, which is IO, I'm pretty sure that was IO, which is gone now, and they'd be like, it's only capping at 1060. I'd be like, that makes sense. The planet's no longer there, but it's like the gear that's closely related to these planets and this moon. Like, why the fuck isn't that continuing?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that this huge move to sunset 70% of the fucking armor and weapons in this game. It's a big move. I just have to hope for Bungie's sake that for this entire season that they actually drop some surprises.
As I said,
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for them to have some tricks up their sleeves and drop some things that like are gonna make people sort of start to realize that they reacted too quickly.
Why I'm curious, and I'm not sure if they came out with it, but I'm wondering why they hit the reset button because that's what it really feels like. It feels like a soft restart.
Well, that feels like Destiny 3. That's the thing. Like they've done it every time. Like Destiny 1 launched with no content. Destiny 2 did the same thing. And I don't mind it on a service-based game. I don't mind it.
Yeah, but if it's a sequel and then going, by the way, you're going back to rock bottom. That's perfectly understandable because you're in a new game.
But that's what this feels like.
You don't want to be this super strong. You don't want to be this super strong guy from the get go. You kind of need that knockback to then come back.
Well, that's what's happened here, man. Like the new missions are hard to do. Like I like that. Like I also understand the traps of this game, man. Because the reason why I quit was because all that power level grinding that you're doing is going to be jack shit next season anyway. And I got over it. So it's like, I'm so glad that I didn't play last season at all. And now I'm at a much higher light level than I was last season. So part of me, and this might be the evil side of me, but part of me just goes, suck shit to anybody else who put in like 500 hours into that last season just to get to that light level because I'm at your light level now, bro. And I didn't even do anything.
Yeah,
part of me is like, chill the fuck out, Justin. Don't play this game so hardcore because you know there's no benefits going forward.
No, I'm partially with you there because when playing with you, Sam, and that, I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you guys were like so far ahead. You're just like, yeah, we're the pinnacle. Like,
yeah, but what's that doing for us? It's just making everything easier and more boring. That's the thing. Like, it's nice to go back in there and have to take cover and fucking heal up again and like actually die sometimes and wipe. Like, fuck, and I'm actually enjoying it. So, it gets to a point every season where I get so fucking powerful that I might as well be like eating food on the fucking internet, browsing Instagram while I'm playing. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's too easy, you know?
You're just playing and you're like, wait, did I finish this already? I don't know if I'm playing or not.
Yeah. So I think part of me is like, it's a different mentality coming into this game this season. I'm just gonna enjoy doing some stuff with you guys as a group, and you know, a lot of the content is only 3 players, so we've got more than that now. So it means repeating some of it, but that's fine because it's all about what we're talking about, right? We tend to talk about life when we play. We don't talk about the game, which is cool. You know?
Well, of course you're not going to talk about the game. We just crack jokes at each other, then talk about whatever's on our mind, which is usually food.
Always makes me hungry, but that.
Oh
that's
no,
it.
well,
like,
this
you know.
but this for me coming back into the game, I primarily got back into it because you guys did, and I really enjoy playing co-op games. I enjoy playing with you guys,
I know you
which
do,
is kind of why I'm just like, I probably won't be going on solo.
Yeah,
like I've gone on a couple of I've gone on a couple of times, and I've just gone,
it's not your thing.
It's just no. I go on and I'm just like, I'm just like, there's nothing to do. I'm just like, I'll just quit and I'll just wait.
But at the same time, like when there's things for us to do, like grinding for a specific exotic weapon or something, that's the kind of stuff that we can do as a group. So I think, but that's why I hate it that like all the new exotic armors are solo only in the game right now. I'm like, that's a bad mistake. That's a really bad mistake. You know, like I saw that today and I'm like, that's fucking stupid, because I would definitely do this with Hawk and Jace tonight and just sit here and try to grind out that last chest. You get to it, you pop it, and you hope that you get that exotic.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that solo over and over again. If I don't get it first go, and I don't get it second go, and I don't get it third go, I'm done with doing this solo.
Yeah, that again
really
was
a bad move.
That again was another reason why I left in the first place, because you and Sam were obviously in that new guild and everything like that, and to keep up, I had to obviously keep playing, but primarily all the times I just generally have to play solo and do all this shit to keep up, and it just got to the point of just like, this is so boring of just popping this chest or doing this mission over and over and over again to hopefully get better gear of a better role to do that. And it's just got to the point of just like, the fact that I even went, okay, guys, I'm not going to uninstall Destiny. If you want to play raids, hit me up. I'm super keen for it. But other than that, I'm not playing.
Well, that's what Kirker was on voice chat the other day on Discord, and I actually said to I didn't say it to his face. I don't know what his face looks like, but I said to him like, Kirker, you were actually the person that's inspired me to come back to Destiny and not give a fuck about gear score, because he never has. He's never given a shit about it, but he is like that clan's best raid Sherpa. He will take everybody through the raid with not the best gear, not the highest gear score. He just knows how to play, and he knows how to play the raid. So I said to him that was he was my inspiration to come back to Destiny, not give a fuck about the highest gear score, just enjoy the weapons that I enjoy and enjoy the content that I enjoy.
Yeah, but honestly, realistically, gear score has sort of mattered, but also it's not mattered. And
it hasn't mattered for him. It hasn't mattered for him.
Yeah, but my point of example was when me, you, and Sam did pit last week. You two were like far above me, and yet at the end of the thing, yes, I died the most, but I also got the most kills, and I thought that was like completely shocking. I was expecting to get almost no kills compared to you two, and yet I had like 221. And
there you go. I think that there's shades of understanding that this game will let you play the game how you want still. there is truth in it. Like when they say we want you to play the game how you like, yeah, it tries to force you into playing PvP every now and then. It tries to inspire you to do it, but generally speaking, you and I haven't played for a whole season. You've played for haven't played for even more than one season, and we did some of the harder content, being the dungeons and stuff, with no problems, no wipes. So that gave me a bit of faith again in the game. That's why I bought this DLC. I bought it because we haven't played in a long time. We did some challenging content that we used to wipe in all the time, but when we went back in there, completely fucking randomly with no warm up whatsoever, and we actually got through it, and it was challenging, but it wasn't like, oh my god, repeat, wipe, repeat, wipe, repeat, wipe, repeat. I actually thought, okay, I'm gonna buy this DLC.
Unlike when we're jumping in now and you're literally going into lost sectors and then having to go, I actually can't do this because you see the question marks and it's just like, I can literally do no damage to this person. I have to leave.
Yeah, I like that too. I like the idea that there's new content to come. I just think that the whole community is forgetting that this is a live game. Like this is a live service game. So there's going to be new weapons. There's going to be new skills. There's going to be new surprises. And I think that's really what they're forgetting. It's like, come on, guys, that that's going to happen, but you're just so busy complaining because I get it, because that's how they feel. Like, how can you argue that? If you feel like that, then you feel like that. Like, fuck. I get it. I get that they're upset. It just sucks. Like, I always put myself in a developer's shoes because I tend to have communities and run businesses like this, like Bungie. So when a majority of people on the internet are hating on my business, I hurt so bad because of the amount of work I put in. So I see both sides, Yeah. But overall, I'm glad to be back in. Let's wrap it up. But I'm glad to be back in. Like, you haven't finished the campaign yet.
I haven't finished the campaign yet. I've been enjoying it. I've been going at a nice steady pace, but that's primarily because I've been working. Because of my full-time job, I don't get to just stay back home and play it.
Like I can.
But I've been going at a nice steady pace, building up. I'm starting to be able to do some more stuff, which I'm enjoying again. I'm enjoying the fact that I can't basically just solo everything or anything like that. Like I jumped into a lost sector into Europa, and as soon as I saw an enemy which had question marks, I pretty much just went, well, I can't do this, and turned around and left.
Dude, you got to be happy that your Warlock and Stasis is so OP for Warlock. So you got to be, you're actually, it's the season for Warlocks for sure. So
I've always enjoyed Warlocks. I just, because I know a lot of people play Hunters. It's just never
majority of the player base, but Hunters are screwed this season. Hunters are.
Yeah, but just wait till like next season, because maybe it'll be turned around. Because I think that's always been the case. In fact, with every season, that's always been the case. Sometimes it's gone. If you're using Void, you're basically shit. If you're using Arc, you're basically gold. Then the next season, if you're using Solar, you're basically gold. If you're using Arc, you're basically shit.
We're just gotta chill out too. Like, I was sitting there looking at my gear and it's all fucked. And like Sam actually pulled me back and said, "Dude, like, it's the fucking first day, bro. You're not gonna have gear that's gonna be good this season now. You are gonna have to find better armor. You are gonna have to reinvest all those prisms and
like I said,
shards and shit into your armor. You're gonna have to do it all over again."
Yeah, but like I said, you just had to bite that bullet at one point, because it just wouldn't go past 1060, and you had to be like, I have to equip a blue, and you're just like, you're trying to hold back the vomit, but then you just like, you click on it and you're just like, a tear comes down your eye and you're just like, this is fucking stupid. I don't like this.
Yeah, and I get it. People are reactionary these days, so it doesn't take much to check out that blinking cursor on your screen and type in what you think and just hit enter. So that's the way it is. But let's wrap it up, man. Like, I think it's been a decent talk about Destiny 2.
It's probably the episode. It's probably the only episode where we've actually talked just about the topic that we stay.
Yeah, but I mean, look, we're still really early days as well. Like, I think anybody releasing a review on Beyond Light. It's too early to review
I won't call.
it. So...
in fact, I won't call this a review though, because we didn't.
No, it's just our thoughts on Beyond Light. We both put our money down. We're both in it. Maybe we'll give an update in future, but that's our thoughts for the episode. So, everyone listening, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and maybe some of you guys are in the same boat as us. I have no idea. But yeah, look out for maybe another episode down the track to talk about how we're feeling further down.
We'll definitely have to probably do that, because as we've said, I believe we've said that in the previous videos, because it's a live service game, it's updating, it's ever shifting, and since I haven't finished the campaign yet, we haven't really gone into strikes or any raids or anything.
Yeah, true.
And we haven't gotten to like to our like strongest or essentially or something where we're satisfactory.
Well, we haven't even done the last dungeon, so there's stuff for us to do.
Yeah, I know. That's what. In fact, but there's more for me. Maybe more for me.
No. I didn't do the last dungeon at all. So
no. What I mean is that is because you played
last.
Because I dropped. Yeah, but you played like Garden and a few more raids and everything like that.
Yeah. There's a few raids that are gone, which is another sore point for people. But hey, there's a new raid coming in a couple of weeks. So
I thought they should have kept like all the raids.
That's fucking stupid, right? Yeah, I agree. Oh my god, that's what I mean. They've made some really bad decisions. But no, anyway, dude, let's wrap it up. I'll leave it to you to do the outro, guys. Thanks for listening.
Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you say that shit, because I won't say that shit. But yeah, no, thank you for saying that shit.
Yeah, but just remember, I'll tell you afterwards, in fact. All right, peoples of the internet, we've talked about Destiny 2. We've talked about Beyond Light. We have geeked out. I shall see you in the next episode. Nipples out.
Nipples out.